You're listening to Real Talk All Sport on Spotify or YouTube on Mr. B Productions -WAL. Or if you've been watching the clips on TikTok, thank you very much for joining us today. We're not in Teddy's place at the moment.
We're on a different
We're in a different place, which is Casa de Matheson, I like to call it.
Venue 1 is taken, venue 2 is taken, the nest. So we've had
and the possible of we can do it at my place at some time, but it'll have to be a little bit more recovered and less dusty.
Yeah. Well, let's wait until it's done first, shall we? Because that's a long road for you.
I know. How have you been, Nathan? Well, what's news with you?
Yeah, good, mate. Good. Lots going on. Apps and socks and stuff like that.
Nice.
So just trying to build some social media content for the launch of the app now in July, and then
that's going to come quickly.
Away we go. Yeah.
Wow,
and hopefully, just doing a little bit with one or two well-known kit manufacturers about the sock as well. So, yeah, lots going on, Dav. Lots going on.
Nice.
Yourself?
Yeah.
Apart from the house,
busy.
the wedding, the job, the
house, wedding, job, fiance's job. It's everything's good.
Yeah.
It's just a lot. But you should have seen me. When redoing a house, and in terms of redoing it, it's from scratch. This thing.
Yeah.
You don't realise how bare bones and basic a house actually is.
Yeah.
You strip it back. You realise how man-made
bricks and mortar.
It is. Bricks and mortar.
Yeah.
I feel like I was 50% mortar by the end of it. My main job has been hacking off all the plaster.
Yeah, I've seen the video.
So
Yeah.
You just get you can't help but get absolutely covered
in dust.
Yeah,
you got to get the mask on. So.
Yeah. So I've been wearing a mask and then the goggles.
Yeah.
Which obviously protect your eyes. But you just can't see a thing.
Because of the dust.
Yeah, you can't see a thing, and they go so quickly. You're there for about 5 minutes, and then bang. I put my phone down on a towel. After 5 minutes, you take your phone off, and there's just a square.
Yeah.
I just don't understand how it gets so dusty.
Plasterboard and... Is it plasterboard you hack it off or old plaster?
It's like...
It's plaster, probably.
It's plaster. There's laughing plaster as well.
Yeah.
So it's proper old school. We also had to tip out the copper water tank.
Oh shit, that's going back, man. Those are not. Well, they don't have them no more.
So when we tipped
in the ceiling, was it? In your attic.
It was in the second floor in a cupboard.
Okay.
But we tipped it out into the bath, and it was like
out
golden.
Was it?
It was because the mix of the copper inside. Yeah. It was like evidently
you wanted to save it, so it was worth money, didn't you?
Yeah. Can you sell water with copper in?
It's like going back in the day in Kemet, mate. It's like golden water, rivers running around.
So I had to sort that out, and then also had to move a cast iron bath.
Yeah.
Which, one thing, it's so shallow. I don't get how anyone could bathe in it because it's so shallow. But it's the heaviest thing to do. We had to get those 5.
You got to realise everything was built to last.
Yeah. Evidently, the house is in great shape.
I bet when you chip off the plaster, I bet it is. But unlike today, everything's built not to last.
Yeah.
Longer than,
But it took like
a year, 2, 5 years, whatever.
It took like 5 of us
to lift it.
To move this bath all the way down the stairs, and I always had to chip away. And you, even with stiles, that you say stiles are meant to last. It had the tiles are this tile known as like chicken tiles.
Yeah.
I don't know if you've ever seen them, but they're like iconic tiles.
Yeah.
That look like little chicks in the. And so I've had to get rid of all them. But part of me thought, will that come around again?
Yeah. Well, it usually does.
But I've hacked away at it now, and it's all gone.
You've killed it.
Straight into the world of sport.
So let's now we've.
You sent me a text in the week.
Yeah.
About the Champions League.
Yeah, what a game.
I genuinely couldn't remember about who we were talking about predictions of who
Yeah.
wants to win.
I'm sure you said Milan. Did you? Inter.
I was thinking about it. I probably did say Milan, only because generally I want the underdog to win.
Yeah.
I thought with Inter Milan, you also saw the players. They had a bit of experience
I think that's what you went with. I think you went for an Italian defences as well.
because they had really experienced players and a lot of players who played in the 2023.
Yeah, but you can get experience where you become too experienced,
Yeah.
where you become a burden. I hate to say it.
Mm-hmm.
And I would say there was, I won't name any names, but, there's probably one or two on there which their age became a burden.
Mm.
They got targeted because of their sort of age.
That was the first kind of big tournament where I thought, wow, they've actually
Done their homework on him.
gone out for someone
Yeah.
and spotted a weakness and gone like, okay, right, we go.
Yeah.
But 5-0,
Yeah.
biggest win in the Champions League final. Paris Saint-Germain beat Inter Milan, and my word, what a game!
Yeah. What didn't you feel it was a result for football though? I felt it was two things. One, Paris have been trying, or three things. One, they've been trying to win it for so long.
Yeah.
Two, they played the best football for me in
Yeah.
the tournament.
Yeah.
And three, it was, if any ownership want to learn a lesson, just look at Paris's last decade in trying to win, or last 7 years at least, trying to win the Champions League and thinking and going about it in ways that most players stroke people around the game would say that's, 11 best players doesn't equal the best team.
Yeah.
And I think they've learned a harsh lesson, and probably, because money is no object to them, if it was, they'd probably be kicking themselves a bit of what they've wasted. And I don't mean wasted as in, Lionel Messi's not good, or Mbappe wasn't one of the best in the world, or whatever. I mean, in, trying to create this sort of, Real Madrid done it a few years ago, they had all the superstars all of the time, instead of
Bale,
instead of them
Ronaldo.
becoming superstars. I'm going back before Bale.
Okay.
I'm going back, years ago when they had Ramos and Zizi and Beckham and they really, Roberto Carlos. They're still a fantastic team, but it doesn't necessarily mean you're gonna clean up, And it's a cup competition, which you can get knocked out at any time. So I was pleased that they went with the sort of the team sort of thing, with superstars in the team.
Yeah.
But let those superstars develop rather than buy them in.
And it's a different level of superstar when you take into account Messi, Neymar, and Mbappe.
Yeah.
These guys are obviously brilliant players, but they
Yeah.
don't come with the franchise of, essentially, when you're bringing in these superstars, you're bringing in sponsorships, you're bringing in reputations, you're bringing in companies, you're bringing in
Who come with them? Well, the deals with them.
Yeah.
Well, the deal for Ronaldo for Messi or Mbappe is going to be a lot different to a Doué.
Yeah. And even if you think about it, with Messi, you come with Argentina.
Yeah.
With Neymar comes Brazil.
Brazil, yeah.
Wow,
Yeah. But I just thought it was a great advert for football. I thought the game was brilliant.
Yeah.
As in, if you're a Paris fan, and the football they played, Enrique's he's just, I think that's 10 out of 10 wins at top level in competitions.
And I still don't think he's considered world.
I think he's one of the greatest
To ever do it.
Yeah, I think he's one of the greatest to do it. Yeah, I really do.
Yeah, I really like him.
I really do.
And it's funny because we talk about it was 5-0, and it was again with Inter. I thought they would be more experienced, and it is that when you say to me all the time, you're like, Dav, well, that's football. Yeah, all right, all right. Okay,
Yeah.
But with Enrique, and we talked about it before, it reminds us of the Barcelona a few years ago.
Yeah.
Like, they've got that Pep-esque to them, but they play entertaining football.
Yeah.
Like that midfield.
They play a higher
three,
tempo than Pep's.
so much so.
Yeah.
And like they get it out to the wingers, and the wingers are exciting.
Yeah.
And even in the middle with Vitinha, and
Wow, what a player, by the way.
it reminds me of that Iniesta, Xavi.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Like that tiki-taka in the middle of, but with centre midfielders.
Triangles.
Beautiful to
Yeah.
watch.
Yeah.
Like when you've seen the likes of Iniesta and Xavi, and people say the beautiful game.
Yeah.
Those moments with Vitinha and Ruiz, the ball just sticks and you have those triangles. Oh my word, is it something to watch?
Yeah, it's brilliant to watch. Amazing to watch. But I like it when a team has been trying for so long to do something and then they achieve it. It's satisfying to me just as a viewer. Do you know what I mean? Because I love football, obviously, and seeing them get the final result at Dembele, like you want to learn how to press in a football match, and he kept pressing like really sensibly and like always showing the keeper one way and usually to the weaker defender. It was like so much attention to detail in there as well.
Yeah.
So
it was such a smart play. And you look at Dembele as well. I think he rose to kind of prominence in football from playing at Dortmund on that right wing, kind of with that style that we see a lot now, but at the time it was almost Iron Robin of you're really left-footed, on the right, cut in and fast. Then went to Barcelona, didn't quite work out the way everyone kind of thought it would be.
expected him to be, yeah.
And then he's been a real late bloomer into becoming this key part of PSG.
Yeah.
I just played out of his skin.
Yeah.
But whilst not being the
Superstar.
while still not being the centre of attention superstar that you say.
Yeah.
And so he's...
But sets the whole tone. That's what we say about strikers. Strikers set the whole tone for the team.
Do you think that's the difference as well with this PSG? Because I think the comparison is always going to be to Neymar, Mbappe, Messi. Now you've got Doué, Moani, and Dembele, or you've got I'm going to try and pronounce his name, Kvaratskhelia.
Yeah,
Kvaratskhelia, which he says just call him Guara. So
Yeah,
I'll call him Guara.
Yeah.
You saw their way
work
that they
rate.
play, and they're the leaders in terms of being somehow the
superstar.
oldest as
Yeah.
well. Is that the doorbell?
Avon calling.
Let's have a look. 17 minutes. Of course.
Didn't expect that, did you?
Right.
What clothing is it?
A denim jacket.
Go double down him up here, you.
Right. Cigarette. I bought it for dead cheap.
As long as it's not for the wedding.
It's alright, isn't it?
Yeah, I still got a Levi denim jacket. I mean,
It can...
you look like fucking something from Starsky and Hutch, but double denimed up and all that. Yeah. You could bring back, I think, double denim.
It comes from... The reason why I bought it was a few weeks ago I was in Malaga,
Yeah.
and I was in the centre of Malaga with my fiance, my brother and his partner, and I had like the worst thing that can happen when you're in the centre of town. A pigeon,
Shat on you.
like, all over me.
Okay, so there's a big old, like, he took a dump on you.
Yeah. And it's not even like, oh, I got a bit on me. I got covered.
Okay.
So
Maybe it wasn't a seagull.
it possibly was. It could have been a horse. It was that. It was that. It was that. But what happened was, so it went everywhere.
Yeah.
And I tell you what, lucky it was
It is
all on
lucky.
me and a bit on my brother's partner. But it's so lucky it hit me because I could take a joke. If it was on my fiance, it would not have been funny.
Okay.
So they were like
But
laughing
she laughed,
away.
right?
Yeah, she's there like, oh,
So,
isn't that funny?
Yeah.
And
So
like,
you just
what-
remember
yeah.
that, right? So
Yeah,
shit, when it reverses, you just remember. Remember the seagull?
So what can you do? And I'm thinking, okay, so sometimes life just comes at you like that. So you got to deal with it. So I went into the toilets, washed my hair off, washed my face in the sink, using their soap and the hair dryers, got washed off. I was like, okay, I can't wear this top because it's covered in crap. So I just took it off in the middle of the centre of Malaga, top off, and whilst having an Aperol spritz, I was like, well, I have to wear something. So Maura had a denim jacket. So I just wore Maura's denim jacket. I was like, I look quite good.
Double denim.
And so I was wearing this denim jacket. Granted, it was smaller than this one.
Yeah, like I said, Starsky Nutch.
Yeah.
Probably
So-
for your time, but
It was a bit before my time.
yeah, you'd fit in well.
But yeah,
Or Dukes of Hazzard or something like that.
but I thought
You're gonna buy one.
I'd get one off Vinted,
Yeah.
and Vinted's all right. It was I'd never done it before.
I don't buy, but I get my kids to sell stuff of mine on there. Yeah.
I get why people do it. So I'm going to be the proud owner of a denim jacket now.
Levi
Yeah.
or Levis, as
And
my
I
younger
thought
son would
Levi,
say.
like I've always bought Levi jeans as well because you can get them patched up as well if
Right.
they break. But that is, as you say, we digress.
You did digress. That's what the
So-
Avon ding dong bell
Yeah.
gets you. But back to PSG.
Yeah. So with
I did
PSG
feel for Inter mind.
I know, because
'Cause it was-
especially if it is an aging team.
Yeah, and at 5-0, it's like, you know, and once I felt once the second goal and before half time, I thought it was game over. And then when they got the third, it was definitely game over. And it should have been 6, really.
Yeah.
What's his name who come on?
Bacola.
Oh, what a lovely burst. It's like, I gutted for him that he missed the target because
Yeah.
when you do something like that, you want to put the ball away because that image will be repeated for years and years to come. But when you miss, like,
I know. And if you score that, we possibly would be talking about him similarly to the way we would with Doué as well.
yeah,
But unbelievable player as well. It's still
both of them, yeah.
20 years old.
Yeah.
Like, come
Yeah.
on.
Yeah. The teenagers are rocking it at the moment.
And with Guara as well, still not too old. The likelihood he's going to get 2 medals because of Napoli as well, winning the league, and
That'd
he
be
was
a
there.
first, wouldn't it?
Yeah. So it's unbelievable player. The thing, and we say about it, when comparing it to the three of Mbappe, Neymar, Messi, when he was tracking back to defend,
Yeah.
with no disrespect to the other guys because they have a role and they are legends, the way he tracked back, that wouldn't have happened.
No. I think that, and I think that's what most people understand, right? And that's the difference between a star and a superstar sometimes, or once you've got to that superstar status, you only do what you're good at. You don't have to do the other stuff.
Yeah.
But you know, it's the other stuff that gets you the success, really and truly. And it's often the other stuff that you used to do that turned you into the global superstar. You know what I mean? So, because like a young Mbappe not running, like senior players would say, well,
Absolutely
not
battered.
having it.
Yeah.
Right? But then when you become the senior or top lead player in the team, you can then say, well, I don't run. You have to do my running for me, sort of thing. So I just thought it was refreshing. It was as refreshing as Crystal Palace winning
Yeah.
the FA Cup. And I thought they were like one of the best footballing teams in the competition as well.
And do you think, because you look at that PSG team, do you think Marquinhos has been a massively overlooked captain?
Yeah, I would say because they went so close so many times and they kept failing. And I think the other thing is, I don't think people really took the French league serious up until about, if you look now, the last 3 to 5 years, the quality of the French league.
Yeah.
The French league at one point was very much like the Dutch league, where you thought, oh, it's more for younger players. You looked at the sort of the Italian, the German, the British, you know, as and the Spanish as the major leagues.
So the primes.
Yeah, and then like the Belgium, the Portuguese, you know, the Dutch, the French were like a tier below.
Kind of like feeder leagues.
Yeah, but now you'd say the French league is probably one of the it's not one of the strongest leagues. What I'd say is like they have quality teams coming out and being able to cope in European Cup, Champions League, and, you know, cope well.
Yeah.
So it was nice to see someone else win it as well. I love it when it's the first. So, you know.
And then with PSG, are they just going to be the team that we've got to be scared of for like the next like 15 years?
Yeah, but it's cyclical. You know, at one point you thought Man City would go on for another 4, 5, 6 years, but bang, it just comes to a quick halt after 4, you know, consecutive titles. Unbelievable feat, won the Champions League, done everything, and then bang, like, can they go and do it again? Well, they got a man who's more than capable, right? He's changed the face of football to a degree. So I wouldn't count them out. I think Dortmund are always going to be in and amongst it.
Now with Jude Bellingham's brother.
Yeah, Job there. I think Bayern are always going to be in amongst it. You know, they've got, you know, a couple of more, like, it seems to fluctuate the German league on the top sort of 4 or 5. And then you've got to say, like, in the UK, well, Newcastle are going to come strong, Villa are going to come strong. You know, Liverpool, they'll be strong again. You know, Arsenal, they'll be strong again. You know, you hope to see, you know, Tottenham and Man United get back and, you know, have like a 6 or 7 team league next year going for the titles. So, you know, Spanish football is strengthening again. Barcelona are back on top.
That'll be interesting next year at Barcelona with a little bit more time, a little bit of age on them as well.
Yeah. So, because they've got like a similar sort of midfield setup as well. You know, they're unbelievable, creative. I think they scored the most goals in Europe this year, I think.
Yeah.
So, listen, it's just, you probably thought, oh, football can't get better, but it's getting better. You're not seeing 1 or 2 individuals no more. Now you're seeing 2, 3, 4 individuals in a team. And then there's probably 7 or 8 teams who have these world-class players, you know.
Moving on from Champions League, do you want to speak a bit international football?
Yeah. Wales or the women.
Yeah, well, we got a bit of both.
Yeah.
Well, firstly, let's talk about the women's, because 4-1 against Italy, from an outsider looking at that, 4-1 doesn't sound great. However, if you look into the game, we were 4-0 down at half time.
Yeah.
Which...
And then 1-0.
And then 1-0 up in the second half. So, looking at that from like an analytical point of view, is that you looking at that going, all right, 4-0, not great. However, they are looking at that and they've made changes and they know where they need to make changes.
Yeah, I think if you want to take the positive out of it, it's a game of 2 halves, right?
Yeah.
What I would say is I think the ladies, as a former player looking at the performance last night, I would say most of them playing at probably 65-70%.
Okay.
Maybe 75% max. And that is because you don't want to go and get injured now.
That's why, I was going to say, was that because they're going to be a bit reluctant?
It's almost subconscious.
Yeah.
You still go into the game thinking, because you think to yourself, if I think to myself, oh, don't do that because I'm going to get injured. Sod's law will be I'll get injured.
Yeah.
So you got to put it and just try and get through the game. And I thought, watching them, I thought, yeah, and it was understandable. Like it's the country's first women's tournament. So if you're in amongst the team or the squad, the last thing you want to be doing is missing out, right? Like whoever doesn't get selected is going to be an absolute choker for them, honestly.
Yeah, well, they were saying, Rhiannon Wilkinson said there's 22 spaces, and she's certing on 21. So you're thinking, am I that one person who could be
nice? It's not a nice position to be in. Someone's going to be broken-hearted.
Yeah, and that also means you're either thinking, I'm that one person, or you're thinking, I'm going to be there.
Yeah.
I need to be there.
Yeah.
So the idea of being injured is probably really scary.
Yeah, well, and you've seen a lot of ACLs with the ladies over the last 3 or 4 seasons, right? So, you know, and they got major injuries to Sophie and people like that themselves. So, Jess as well had been injured. But I just thought, it's almost like a performance that I would be saying, I wouldn't be saying this to the players, but I'd be thinking to myself, if I'm the manager, we know it was an important game to a degree, but it's still a good sort of fitness exercise in between season end and before you go into the European Championships, because the be all and end all is the European Championships.
And from an improvement point of view as well, is it better to look at that game and having lost it? Is that better because you can be like, right, we lost this game, we look through it, see everything we did. Essentially,
they are going to have to improve their set pieces defensively.
Yeah.
I mean, that's been a highlight. They keep conceding an early goal first 5, 10, 15 minutes. And it usually comes from a set piece. Now, that is an issue that, you know, that's something you get on the training ground and you have to fix. Because it's a mentality as well. Yeah. Right? It's almost like it's become an issue. So the more you think about it, the more you bring it in. You almost will it in. Do you understand what I mean?
Yeah.
It becomes, you know, when people say, oh, they haven't scored a goal. This team haven't scored a goal for like 3 hours. 3 hours quickly becomes 4 hours, 5 hours. And then before you know it, they haven't scored a goal. I think it was Leicester this season hadn't scored a goal for hours and hours and hours.
Or it's like United with the pressure of winning 5 in a row.
Self-fulfilling, right? Yeah. It becomes self-fulfilling. So I think there's certain things, but they will have to, especially going into the tournament, they'll have to address that issue. And they've tried. Yeah. But whatever they're doing or whatever they've done isn't working at the moment, because I think they've conceded 3 or 4 goals from set pieces as well. Yeah. So there's work to be done. It's always a work in progress. But the positive was they won the second half 1-0. And what a goal. Gee, Jess, like, listen, let me just say this. Anybody, and when I say anybody, I mean anybody, coaching staff, fans, players, anybody thinking, she's on the way down. Listen, there's nobody in that team can do what she can do, right? And I've said it for time. You should build your team around her, right? The ball should go through her until she's sick and tired of seeing the ball, right? Because there's no one else can do the things she's done, and she's done it and proven it time and time again. And I know we say about the team, Paris Saint-Germain, team, but Jess is like a Diego Maradona of Argentina for the women's football. Yeah. So when you've got someone who's of that caliber, right, like a Messi, like a Ronaldo, when you've got someone of that caliber, you have to channel your football through them. You want them to have, because they're capable of doing things that others aren't capable of. As she proved off the bench, been injured for the last, I don't know how long, come off the bench, and doesn't score a good goal, scores an absolute worldie. Yeah. Right? Does it count? Absolute worldie. And I just like, well, even if I was managing, I'd be saying, if I don't build my plan A around her, if we're 0-0 and we need a goal, plan B is we go to Jess. Jess becomes free. She's a floater.
Yeah.
She's here. She's there. She's everywhere. I just think at the age, you can't keep asking her to do like a midfield job, but you can ask her to do that 10 floating. Because she still will work. She'll work her knackers off. Like she gets into position, blah 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 blah. So she'll do the dirty work for your team, but you can't ignore what she gives you offensively. It's just too much. It's too good. It's like Bale, right?
Yeah. That's the comparison.
It's like Bale.
It is
you know
that.
what I mean? 2016.
World-class
He's not
ability.
just good. He actually teams fear you because of him.
Yeah.
Not because of your team. They fear you because of him, right? And I would say it's exactly the same for Jess. Teams will fear Wales because of her. Because her reputation is that good. She's she's not done it for 2 minutes. She's done it for a decade plus. Do you know what I mean? So when you got that, personally, it'll be part of my plan A. But if not, she definitely, if we need a goal, right, we're switching to a different, less responsibility for Jess defensively. And you get up, you get your head up and get the ball through it. Because they got girls who can run. On the wide.
Yeah, and with her goal, because if you look back at it, Jess actually makes the interception.
Yeah.
Takes like one touch.
Yeah.
Bang.
Nonchalant.
Technique.
She sees it.
Yeah.
Almost.
Does that count as a chip? Because
Yeah, that's a chip.
do you reckon that because it's a chip, but
It's
it's
a
like,
chip with a.
it's got pace on it.
No. But it's got. It's always a chip. I'll tell you now, because the ball's rotation is.
She backspins it.
It's like a wedge.
Yeah. That's a good way to explain it.
Right, you get and she dug it. You see the way she hit it.
Yeah.
She dug it, so it's a chip with a bit of ping on it.
Yeah, because it doesn't.
So it
have
stays
doesn't
flat.
Because it doesn't have height on it.
Right.
And then it also just when it hits the crossbar,
It makes you look even better, right? So it's what I'm saying is technically, there's so much going on there as you've just explained.
Yeah.
That's what I say. There's only, I don't think anyone else would have even thought, oh, I've won the ball. Oh, keeper's off his line. I've just seen her.
Yeah.
Like literally a split second ago, I know she's off her line. I'm going to chip her.
Yeah.
And the technique I'm going to use is a flat,
Yeah.
dug out, flat. So it doesn't loop up and down. It goes, the trajectory stays flat, low, and then cuts under the bar.
I think when you think of that goal, there's not many goals where you kind of approach it like this. But when I think of that goal, I can almost feel it.
Yeah, it's,
do you know, I can feel my leg going.
Your leg, like, you break your ankle if you try to do that.
Almost like when playing table tennis with the bat going.
I tell you who scored a similar goal to it, and it's one of my favourite goals ever, is Wayne Rooney when he went back to Everton. Can you remember?
Yeah.
Ball back to him on the halfway line. He was beyond the halfway line, and he's just pinged it.
Yeah.
From like 55 yards. He's in his own half, pinged it.
Yeah.
And I can't remember who the keeper was, but I can remember them just running and jumping, and it was too high for them, right? And it just underneath the back. Like, that's what I'm saying. Those kind of goals, I would say a chip. If you score a chip, a worldly chip, you've got a lot in your locker, because it's probably the hardest technique.
I did about 7 years ago at Glider Fields in Llanishen.
I like it. I think I scored a 1 or 2 for Bolton and Sheffield United back in the day. Right foot as well.
Right.
Yeah, on my dicky foot.
Yeah.
But it was great goal, great finish. And seeing her coming off injury and then not starting back to back, obviously, because you wouldn't, you got to build up to it. But getting on in such a disappointing result, it was a huge highlight, right? Like all the commentators hung on to it, fans hung on to it. You know, people at home were probably, okay, but we won the second half 1-0, and what a goal she scored. Like.
Yeah.
And it's like I've said, I've just seen so many goals like that from her. It's just like, she's a freak. She's a freak of nature, man. She's a freak of nature, honestly.
Yeah. And keeping it Welsh, with the men's squads out for the next kind of set of games, we got Liechtenstein and Belgium.
Sick of playing them,
I'm so bored of Belgium. Oh, gosh.
It's always Belgium. They've been our it's like the good and the evil for the last
They're as bored of us as we are.
yeah.
Them.
Well, pre 2016, right? Qualifiers 2016.
Yeah.
They were in our group. Played them in the quarterfinals. Played them. I think we probably played. They've been in our group. Say we've had between Nations League, European Cup, and World Cup. They probably, if we had 8 competitions, they've probably been in our group 6 times.
I'm bored of beating them. I'm bored of running rings around. Just stick a Sunday League team against them. Just let them have some fun with Belgium. We've played them enough.
Yeah.
But the team's obviously out. And interesting picks with the team. One person I wanted to chat to you about, because there's going to be some big expectations. Roman Capaccio. Fullback.
Yeah.
Cardiff City. Interesting pick because actually it has been a real tough one for Cardiff City players to get into that Welsh squad. Like there's no Ruben Colwill.
Yeah.
Cian Ashford's not in the international stage, even though he's had some really good moments.
Yeah.
Capaccio, good player, but hasn't played as much for Cardiff as those guys. But is in the right back position, which is a position that we are thin on. I just thought about your appointment for that. What do you think?
The kid's a good player. I mean, I've seen him a couple of times. I've seen him at Sheffield United in the FA Cup. I see him in Norwich last game of the season, and great potential.
Yeah,
and you can tell he's still a kid though.
Okay,
right, because he's not quite, and this will come with games and experience.
Yeah,
he's not quite demanding of the players around him or the opponent he's playing against. He's still you're the experience, I'm the kid.
Yeah.
I mean, and
constantly thinking about it.
Yeah, and I think what I'd say to him is, if I was looking after him or he was in my team or anything like that, he was in the same team with me, I would say to him, not a false one, but you need to develop a little bit more arrogance.
Okay.
Because you belong here.
Yeah.
And if he gets that next level of belief, which might come with Craig's introduction of him into the Welsh squad, you're not a decent player with a bit of potential. You're now a Welsh international kid.
Yeah.
Think like it, play like it, and, no doubt Cardiff will be selling him in another 12 months.
I think people are looking at him already as well, which is mad.
Yeah, well, League One now, you just get picked off now. They were selling their youth anyway. They've sold their youth, what youth they've had. They haven't had a massive abundance of it, but they've probably sold 4 or 5 players over the last 8-9 years. But it's the way the cookie crumbles, I'm afraid.
But it'd be good to see him play, because it'd be nice to see him, because Liechtenstein, obviously, a team we should be beating.
Yeah, and great time to develop him. Craig's done such a good job. I can't credit him enough, to be honest with you.
And he doesn't, it seems to be with Craig, if he wants you in that team, he really wants you in that team.
Yeah, he's not bullshit, is he?
Yeah, exactly. Well, exactly. He's Craig Bellamy.
Yeah, he's not. And I don't think he's. And I mean, it'll happen probably, and he'll have to do it at some point. But he's not. I'll give you a cap, so you don't play for another country, because there is someone who was in the squad.
Yeah. He's checking out Canada. Yeah.
But I mean, you're within your right to do it. I always say that. It's football. If you think it's better for you to go elsewhere, then go elsewhere.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? But what Craig's done is develop, and he's spotted, right, I think we can get him in and develop him. And I mean, Liechtenstein is a perfect kind of game as well, right? Yeah. Develop him in that kind of game. You might chuck him on for 10 minutes against Belgium.
Yeah.
If you were winning, or, sometimes you don't want to be the one who causes the ricket that ends up conceding. So your concentration levels are so high. Once you put someone in a game like Belgium, if he was to put him on in a game like Belgium, he wouldn't start him, I have very much doubt.
Yeah.
But even if he did, Craig would be telling him how the confidence that he has in him as a player.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's what I'm saying. Like, it's not an arrogance of I'm this and I'm that. It's an arrogance of I'm a fully fledged professional. That's another thing the kids, a hurdle they need to get over mentally sometimes is going from under 21s to becoming first team.
Yeah.
I've heard many kids say, oh, well, I'm playing against men now. And I always say, well, who did you expect to be playing against? Like, that's that's what I, speaking about myself, that's what I spent my whole childhood trying to become. Was a young man to play against other men. You know what I mean? It wasn't a case of like, oh, you're 18 and you're the big I am, and then you get into the first team and you wilt and shrink. No, you small fish in a big pond, but the idea is become the big fish in the small pond, right? So good timing, I thought, from Craig as well.
Yeah, I like it.
Yeah, really, really good. Clever. He's doing, like I said, he's done a magnificent, like it's not a good job. I seen Noel Mooney recently at the Celtic Man. I was going to see my mucker Frankie Sinclair, and there was some gig on. And I seen Lauren Price as well. Nice to see her.
Nice.
Yeah, but I said to Noel Mooney then that we had a brief chat in the car park, walking up into the hotel. And I think he's done tremendous, and I don't see a slip in because I don't see him slipping. And it's not just about his standards. He's actually coaching a brilliant sort of philosophy. He's got a great system going on, right? And players have not bought into it. They believe in it, and they're taking their game to the next level, right?
Yeah.
I just really, really fingers crossed we can get to the tournament.
Yeah.
And then I think we'll do decent at the tournament as well.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
And when you see these squads as well, you've obviously got the Wales team, you've got the under-21. We're now coming to a point where people you played with or against, their children are coming through. What's that like seeing, so you've seen, there's the likes of Zach Giggs, there's Lewis Kumas.
Yeah.
Is it weird seeing these people being like...
Yeah, no, and I remember seeing him in a pushchair, or I remember seeing him in his mother's arms, or I remember seeing him on Jason's shoulders, or I remember seeing, do you know what I mean? It's, well, it's not weird, it's just a quick slap in the face to remind you you're 50 plus stuff. But thanks for that.
It's just funny because it comes to it's a new stage of these players being like, okay, because I'm in that weird one of the likes of looking at like Jason Kumas, Ryan Giggs, those players were a little bit kind of on the, like I saw them play.
Yeah.
But they're also my dad's kind of footballers. Where then
I'm
seeing in the
my dad's kind of here, right? Okay.
He's a massive fan, but I also saw them play, but I didn't necessarily see the development of them as players. But now it's weird seeing, and chatting to dad about them, and it's like, wow, they've got a 17-year-old, 18-year-old kid, like, who's now close
like
to being
Delap.
a man. Yeah.
Like
with
played with
Delap.
Rory or played against Rory Delap, and now his son is like
at Chelsea as well.
at Chelsea, he signed for it. Yeah,
but it's strange seeing that. It's the first time in my lifetime that I've seen that cycle repeat itself in terms of those players, because children footballers has been happening for as time as old as football.
Childhood football, right? Most of them, I would say it happens far more now, or seems to happen far more now than it did back in the 80s and 90s.
Yeah.
Seems to be like kids are just, and I think what happens is that there's a lot more time spent on coaching and development. Yeah. Although I do think the game at times has become a bit like, as great as the Champions League final was, that's what I said, it was a great advert for football. A lot of the footballers become mundane and, it's similar thing.
Okay.
That's why I think when we see these duets or what have you,
Yeah.
you know, these young players coming through who are just like blistering,
Mm-hmm.
you know, the minimal and people are you're like, oh wow,
It's
refreshing.
It looks like it's not been coached.
Well, Eze is the prime example.
Yeah.
And I never forget like being at QPR on New Year's Day, I don't know, 6-7 years ago. Cardiff were playing there. They always seem to play QPR on New Year's Day. And someone said to me in the press room, where QPR do the best pies, by the way, brilliant. Oh, we got this kid, blah, 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 Eze. And just, what you think? Tell me what you think of him, Nathan. And then he absolutely tore us apart. I think we lost 5 or 6-0 on New Year's Day. And then they said to me after the game, he was at, I said, where the hell did you find him? He was just like smooth as silk. Where'd you find him? Oh, Millwall chucked him away.
Yeah.
Neil Harris. And I remember thinking to myself then, oh, Neil, what a ricket that is.
Yeah.
We all get things wrong, but whatever you've not seen, listen, it's pretty obvious to most people what that kid's got. So
yeah, and that's the beauty of the Championship. If you look at, you get those players who look like they haven't been coached. Like in my head, when you're saying those players, I'm thinking when I was watching Cardiff in the Championship, it was the likes of Wilfried Zaha when he started, like Ricardo Vazte, DJ Campbell.
DJ was
like
quality for us, yeah.
Those, like looking at those players, being like, oh, they just make something out of nothing because they're just raw.
Yeah.
So I totally get what you mean.
Yeah.
And Ebereche is one of those now.
Yeah. And I just nice to see that. Like a lot of the kids, they're all coached to death. You know, they do a lot of the good things all of the time, blah, 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 blah. But there's this crop of this young talent now who are just outside the box, I think. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. Like you can coach him, but I think what happened at one point was, so reason why I think an Eze would have been rejected by a Neil Harris is because you won't be able to get away with that in a professional game.
Yeah.
I mean, we want to keep you in this box. We actually want to coach your talent out of you, right, and make you fit into how we expect you to be. Millwall play this type of football, and and if you're not inside that, rather than saying, "Oh my God, that's challenging to me." Now, how do I change the whole way Millwall play to fit around him?
Yeah.
Right? That's a challenge to me as a coach, right? Because I'm now going to have to change my philosophy to a degree. But that kind of player can help uplift your club into a different level and stay on that level even when he's gone, because now players come and you're now looking at players who are a bit different. Do you know what I mean? Who can give you those fans. Imagine the satisfaction and the joy he could have given Millwall fans.
Yeah.
Do you understand what I'm saying? So it's no good just seeing it from the prism of my own eyes. You've got to broaden your horizon, But then the player's got to fulfill that potential, which he has, and so many of the youngsters are today.